So why the specialist series? Well, two real reasons. I think one, I've just always wanted to do it. There's just something about catching lots of different species and big specimens of different species. So it's something I'm looking forward to doing. And reason number two, I think anyone who's been to the Tacklebox will know it always has been a bit of a carp orientated shop as such. So the whole idea was to move away a little bit from the carp fishing aspect of everything and just try for a few different species that most people probably don't get the chance to have a go for or even think about doing it. And obviously with Storm Eunice that's battered the country for the last couple of days, something I've always wanted to do and never really done properly was to catch a big roach. Yeah, it's something on that sort of little bucket list I wanted to tick off. So we came here to a big southern pit. Obviously not the most traditional way to do it, but with a lot of specialist fishing now, you kind of have to take a little leap out of the carp angler's book, I guess. So yeah, we turned up yesterday. Found a nice area we wanted to concentrate on. Like with a lot of carp fishing, it's not the gravel I'm looking for at this time. It's sort of like the harder areas of silt, sort of similar to if you're like an area that you would pick a lot of bream up from. They feed in a very similar way in similar areas to what roach do. So what I'm really just aiming for is anything that doesn't feel too slushy, but I don't want it like going over marbles. It's just a firm, hard, flat area, if possible. And we've found an area just out there which is ideal. It's literally coming from the big silt bed at the back of it to what feels like very hard silt or possibly even sand. So we're going to explore that area a little bit more, see how big it is, for example, see if I can get 2 rods onto it, see what the depth is, and then we can start marking everything out and working out where we're going to place the rods. Okay, so that went down really soft. The further left I went there, so that tells me that that's into some much softer silt. So we'll try a little bit further right this time. Okay, so that went smash down, so that tells me the further right I go, the harder the spot's getting. So we'll wrap it up, find out how far this is and how deep, so we can work out the swing back of the feeders, and we'll start mixing a bit of bait up. So in terms of bait for roach, I mean I'm no expert, but from the research I've done and from the people I've spoken to, one of the most important factors in this is to keep your ground bait dark. Big beds of light coloured ground bait throws up a massive red flag to many species, not just roach. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in with a combination of a dark worm fish meal, and we don't want to mix up loads, it's just enough to get the swim started. So the second of the 2-part ground bait mix I'm going to use is a dark river ground bait. Now the reason for this is I'm fishing in 13 foot of water, so I need to have a little bit of body to it to be able to get it down to the deck. Once it's all wetted down and it's been riddled and we've added everything else, I'm actually going to compact it a little bit into the spom. So once that spom opens, the actual ball of ground bait itself will get to the bottom before it then disperses and is then inhaled by everything else that's in the lake. So we're going to add a little bit of that into it. Yeah, one thing I definitely wouldn't leave home without when roach fishing, and pretty much everything that swims loves is hemp. I mean, I'm not going to go mad with it, but we just want a few handfuls in there. Everything loves it. Roach love it, bream love it, tench love it, carp love it. So yeah, definitely get some of that in there. And another thing that has been recommended to me, bit of an old school additive, but apparently roach absolutely go bananas for, aniseed oil. Again, it smells like sambuca, which isn't particularly nice, but we're just going to add a few capfuls of that, and that seems to be one of those little old school edges. If bream aren't too much of a problem, I'm going to add a handful of very, very small, this is 2mm micro pellet, just a little handful, just to help bind this all together. Now, we're not going to make it too wet, but likewise don't want to mix it up too dry, so we're just going to start binding this together. Our original target for this video was a 2-pound roach. Wasn't going crazy because a 3-pounder is an exceptional fish, and that you're not going to do that for the first time of asking. But extremely lucky in that the very first roach of the day, once we'd gone through a few bream, was our 2-pounder. Right, so it didn't take long for the first bite. Not too sure what it is, but it's kicking back. Massive drop back, followed by a screaming take. Ah, it's a bream. It's a bream. Well, I think it was inevitable that we was going to get a few of these. I don't think this is a bream. I don't know what it is, but it's a roach! It's a massive roach! Oh my god! Oh my god! Get out! This is huge. That's the biggest roach I've ever seen, let alone ever caught. Oh. Is that challenge done in a couple of hours? Oh wow, okay. Take that. Let's try and get another one. Right, so this is the first 2-pound roach I've ever had, and hopefully the first of a few we get in this session. This shows it. So all we've got to do is fish it simple. Absolute immense fish, biggest roach I've ever seen on the bank, and biggest one I've easily caught to date. After that, the spot started rocking a little bit. Lots of roach coming through, up to about a pound. They were quite small, and then the inevitable happened. Bream moved in, and then once that happened, it was hard work just to keep 2 rods in the water, really. It was bream after bream after bream. It's a bite, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have that. I'm going to say bream and hope it's a roach. I mean, it's knocking its head like crazy, which isn't very bream-like, but... Oh no, I've got double bubble. Nice and snotty on that one. I'm saying bream on this one because it's been on and not moving. Oh no, well, it is target species, but not the size. So the tackle I'm using here for sort of, I suppose what you'd call it, pit style roach fishing. It's not the most traditional way to do it, and like a lot of specimen angling now, it is a slight form of scaled down carp fishing, really. I've got a 12-foot, 1 pound test curve rod. Anywhere between 1 and 1 1/4 is absolutely fine. Don't really need to go any heavier than that. Roach got very soft mouth, so you don't want to be using anything too stiff. Small free spool reel. I've got a 6 pound main line, which runs all the way down to a quick change clip. So that lets me change from a lead to various different sizes and shapes of feeders. And I've got a little quick change swivel sandwiched in between 2 float stops, which effectively then gives you a helicopter rig. It's nothing more complicated than that. Very short 5 pound fluorocarbon hook link just to keep everything away. Hook sizes, I mean, dependent on how wary the fish are, I guess. You go anywhere from a 12 if they're really having it, down to an 18 if they're really finicky. I've got here a size 14 wide gape specialist, which I'm literally fishing 3 real maggots on, and that's just down to a 35 gram Drennan feeder bomb. And it doesn't really get any more complicated than that. Like I said, it's not as complicated as carp fishing can be. There's not 4 million different rigs for this, that and the other. And yeah, it's just a case of recasting the rigs every 25 minutes, half an hour, keeping the swim topped up, and that's basically it. Fish right up into dark. Again, catching plenty of small roach. Nothing as big as the 2 pounder we had earlier on in the day, but the action was thick and fast. Today though, the conditions completely changed. It's bright, sunny, pressure's starting to rise, very cold wind has moved in, and the bites have just stopped. It's like someone's flipped a switch. So we'll keep at it. Still fishing nice and tight onto the spot we fished yesterday. We'll give it a few more hours, see how we get on. But I think the fish have moved off the end of this cold wind, so we might be lucky, and we'll see what we do. Well, we've come to the end of this session. Not an awful lot more materialised during today. The conditions are poor, to say the least. Not so bad for sitting in, but not great conditions for fishing in. Bright sunny conditions, sky high pressure. But we can't completely grumble at this, because we came to catch a 2 pound roach, and we did catch a 2 pound roach. So for that, it was a complete success. So that's all for this one. Any suggestions for what you'd like in the next video, please feel to drop in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.